legit wins. Okay, it's a smaller sample size, but it does give us a very interesting matchup on our hands.
I gotta say, man, Viper.
Here we go.
Let's go, baby. This is exactly what I wanted when ICEBOX came into this pool. I saw it as a feasible region for Viper to flourish, and I'm so happy to see it. But what I'm more excited about, I think this is the first game I've seen Pith stray from a Sentinel. He is now on what is essentially a controller, and what further shows the fact that it is that Panatek took a Sage. He's gone off his Omen and off his Brimstone from the previous map, going for the Sage, which will be for, you can see on the map already, right? He's over towards Tube. That's the kind of area you want your Sage in to control the split from mid to B, to stop anybody from pushing Tube, especially because FrenzyGoKill don't have an Omen. So if you put that wall down so that they have to break, you put it straight down so they have to break every single piece of it, they can't get past it. With an Omen, you can shadow step, so you have to stay close to it to hear the sound cue. But without an Omen, who cares? But look, there you go, walls down, get out of there. Balin running towards the A site where they've got it stacked up because they've seen that Viper wall come down straight away. Now G2 have put a Viper wall of their own straight down. This covers basically any peek from coming out. It gives you an advantage in the pixel fights. They've got to push, they've got to flank, but hold on, FrenzyGoKill, they're already on the A side, they've overwhelmed it, but the mid push, then up behind is where Mixwell can do some damage. They crunch in on the Brams and take him down. The trades are worthwhile as they end up in a 2v1. This has been a hectic round. This is one I would love to pause, rewind, and analyze, but we can't get there just yet, because Vex in a 1v2 already got a headshot connected with the Frenzy, but look at his HP. He's so low! That's a risky dash by Mixwell. 0.75. No, he's using a Frenzy. That's 1 second until he can take the weapon out after dashing. But luckily, it worked out.
It did work out, and what I think is really crucial there for G2 is that they delayed that plant going down for so long, which meant Vac, he could try his best efforts, but he didn't have anywhere to go realistically when that push already started to come in. He went to try and take the challenge in case it was turned into a 1 versus 1 at any point, right? So if they were trying to entrance into the site, or if they were maybe trying to go through on one player flanking, but G2 played it smart. They played together, right? They played it in a 2 versus 1 scenario to give them the ultimate advantage, even if one did go down. Have that refrag on the cards to play with. So a good start for the defensive side here for G2, but the defensive side on ICEBOX is certainly the more favored side.
Now, I do wonder, there's the second time we've seen both of these walls put down. Now, again, just to break into the B wall a little bit, you can push that down, peek in on the right side, so you've got a right side peek. You can see straight down past the wall. It means nobody can cross that wall. If you cross it, they've got an immediate advantage on you as you emerge from it. But Vac, he's crossed their wall over on the A side. Usually there's only one Viper wall. This is great. Panatek and Z pick up some kills, and FrenzyGoKill, well, they are left stumbling, wondering what they can do.
One enemy
There's not a whole lot. It's being shut down.
They are getting rolled on over here. No kills going their way. A flawless victory for G2 and a very comfortable round. Now, Mitch, I've never personally done it. I've only ever casted games where we have one Viper in. Have you ever been given the luxury of having a double Viper game to really wet your taste buds?
I think I had one before.
How do you not remember? You're the Viper fan.
This is the thing. From memory, I believe there was one where we should have had double Viper, but then a player didn't play the Viper, so we only had one. I think that's the closest I've gotten, but then I have a feeling I did one, but it could be a pug that I was working on. I don't know. But at 2-0, 2 Vipers, there's 2 of everything, including Reyna's. We didn't touch too much on that. These setups are identical, and it's interesting because I wouldn't consider this so much a standard for either of these teams when I look at these players and what they generally play. So shifting their oh my God, Zeke, come on. Give them some room to breathe, for God's sake.
And this is Zeke, not just as an IGL, but also showing his versatility in here from start to finish. We saw him on a Sage on split. We now see him on the Reyna. This is a man who will play what's needed, but also be able to deal the damage. This is kind of the final piece that G2 were looking for here. But Machina, he's going to try and land some pieces of his own with the Sheriff in hand. He can't connect those last few shots. It does comfortably go with 4 still alive to G2. And even if they want to here, Mitch, do they now, right, just stay with the bonus round all the way? Do you just go for the bonus round into the 4th? We don't often get to see it.
Yeah, I guess you do.
You could you just really stack up mad cash?
This is going to be a big buy from their opponents. With Zeke having his ultimate, he can obviously do a lot with a Spectre because his rate of fire goes crazy.
Yep.
Now, on range, not so much. But think about where he's been playing and where he currently is. Outside of the A site, pretty much everywhere. If you hold that choke point, you're forcing them into close range fights. If you push, you'll get past the ult orb to peek them at about the same time they get there. So with your ultimate up, that's a pretty even fight. I don't mind it at all, keeping these weapons over, and it just puts them in a healthier position. The problem is, if you just got one tap like that, you can't compete. Headshot for headshot, Vandal wins.
Less than ideal for sure. As hard as he tries to swing wide as he sees the drone go up, but it's not going to work out for him. Now Patatek left all alone for Spectre on the site. He tries to buy himself some time and throws down the slow orbs. Mixwell, well, he'll make a misstep on that one. And he may be just straight in for the save, if anything.
Oh, no,
where did he get that one from? Is that the lurk? Did he get... Yeah. Oh, that's huge.
So catching that frag, the problem is they don't know about this mid play. They don't know about the Viper coming up behind who put the wall down earlier. They'll presume, having seen Sender, that Viper is on the site, and that's when Brahms strikes from behind. The snake venom going on in, but Mixwell, he's quick with the blades. He catches the kill, and so we're into a 1v2. They can go up on the... Oh, come on. He wasn't planting. Patatek's being baited there. He clearly wasn't planting. Now that ult orb is going to get him the res if he wants it. The problem is for Sender, all these players are out in the open. That updraft was dangerous. So all those players were out in the open. He can't res them. He knows he'd just be pushed down immediately and have to win that fight.
One player in mid.
But he could get that mid res. He decides against it, going in for the spike plant. Now there's a number of options available to him. He can spike plant and go back to mid to try and get that res. So I think that's why Mixwell is actually sticking around this area. As he comes past the body, now there's no way that res comes through.
Easy shot landed for Sender, no problem at all. Can grab himself the operator as well to pass on over to one of his teammates. It'll put himself in a great spot, but it was still a bonus round here for G2. Yes, they had the investment from Mixwell getting the operator, but he can even buy another one for himself on this round. They had such a good start to this game because of the failed force up from Frenzy that even now they are very competitive up in this round.
I'm already enjoying this Viper play, but we haven't even seen the start of it, really. I mean, it's the same beat wall every time just because it's so powerful, right? It sections off a lot of these angles that you otherwise have to worry about. And look how hard it is to play against it. There goes the deep venom to stop Mixwell from... Or not Mixwell, sorry, to stop their jet from peeking on through. But Browns has just been wide swung by the least likely player. It's a Sage with her ult up, but still playing aggressive.
That was solid there. Machina, he came in heavy hitting on Split, and he doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. Artis is making headshots galore, and he's forcing them back. Machina cannot stand there to take the fight any longer.
Also,
so much damage.
I've got some huge info. It was the FPX versus Summon where I expected a double Viper, and it didn't happen. Thank you, Vakez from Heat, for letting me know. I knew I'd been betrayed before in the past, but Machina, look at this guy. He's just wrecking face of G2. That's a 3K in this round, where realistically he should have gotten one. And a shock. Come on. Who's been watching Jonas' stream? Stop it. That's nasty to close it out.
That was such a clean round from Machina. He capitalized on the fact that Mixwell took the shot onto the operator and they just should dashed away from each other, and Machina just put himself in a great spot to be able to push forward onto that B site. And then rather than just sitting back, right, staying defensive, he wanted to make sure he applied the pressure to them left, right and center and catch any G2 players who were still trying to rotate themselves around. That really didn't just open up the site, but it gave them the round. It gave them full control.
But the thing is, with a Bulldog in the position that Machina was in, getting away with one is reasonable. Getting away with two and they already know where you are, that's unreasonable on a whole nother level. Here's the ult popped straight away by Zeke. He's going to look to get aggressive, but it's not necessarily successful. He just gets headshots straight away, and I mean, rate of fire means nothing if the first bullet is what kills you. Here's the shock dart coming down, but not in time. They make it out of there. FrenzyGoKill even getting their heals up, so full HP for every player, only lacking a little bit of armor, and versus the weapons that they're up against with a man advantage, with the ult popped by the Reyna, there is not a... Oh, no! Feck you gets shut down, not realizing they could walk out of heaven, and it's down to a 3v4 in G2. They can get this done if Mixwell is given the opportunities like he was just there, but as he descoped, the timing was perfect. And this should be an easy one for FrenzyGoKill. In fact, I'm surprised Mixwell's still pushing forward. I'm surprised anyone's still pushing forward.
G2 believe they have a chance in every single round. But Mixwell may not even have a chance to escape here. Oh, there we go. Does go out to the bomb in the end.
Didn't have a chance to get away, and then that's a free operator as well. You know, it is odd in those situations, but again, I'll call back to what I said on the previous map. There's been a lot of times where we look at G2 and we say, well, there's no way they go for this retake. And then they do, much to our surprise, and we say, well, that was a silly way to throw away weapons, and then they win the retake. Like, that's seemed to be their storyline for the last year, but getting punished for it versus FrenzyGoKill. This team is capable of stepping up to the same level of firepower, but I think the last round on Split embodied how confident G2 still are even after a 6-6 first half on that initial map, because you saw Mixwell lurking on mid, going towards B Heaven by himself with the operator and taking the picks on the attack side. We hadn't even seen him use the operator much on the attack, and then he's entering with it, and in fact solo entering. So it's crazy when G2 are confident. You just cannot predict what they'll do, but hold on. Speaking of confidence, it might be knocked down a notch with such a quick and clean execute from Frenzy.
And I spoke about this, right? We saw ICEBOX earlier on. These fast A hits that can come into play. Okay, there's some smaller choke points with it, but once you just be able to full stack it, depending on how defensive the defense side is playing, if they're sitting far back, you're just able to take so much ground and push on in. And that's what is happening here. Frenzy are finding it so easy to get inside the site.
You have to say, though, obviously this round did have much weaker weapons, so it's not a condemning factor for G2. But the lead is now taken by FrenzyGoKill. And this buy round, to be honest, I've heard people say in the past, like, when you take the lead, you know, that's where the mental thing kicks in. If you're on an eco like that, I don't think so. It's very easy to write it off and go, well, we just had pistols. So
yeah, we didn't have the weapons.
You know, we had, was it SMGs at best? I don't think they had a single rifle. Now you've got everything to work with. You've still got the res on, online. You've got Pith solo playing to B, I think, because he has his ultimate. Be interested to see how he sets this up. Although he still put the wall down, so if he was playing how I thought, which is an ult almost where he is, just in front of yellow, he can block off pretty much the whole site. But he's going to hold that for a little bit later on, and possibly for now, as they start to push forward and make some presence.
Well, it does mean that Pip is going to fall back for now. He tries to get the backup of Padatek, who's getting his head cleanly ripped off. The wall goes down. Pip was trying to get the spam through. He might be able to try and deny the plant here. Just off the edge of it. He walks his way through, starts the spam. Doesn't deny the plant, but will pick up the kill. Puts it into the 4v4. But now he's trying to play around all the other players here, especially the focus towards yellow. Vac gets leered off the spot. And the knives are going to go out. Vac wanting to do some serious damage in a round like this, but his knives may have not even been needed because the rest of his team, they're picking up the pieces, they're shutting everyone down, and Mixwell gets one straight to the dome, and a 5th round secured for Frenzy as G2, even with guns in their hands, they didn't put up much of a fight. They were not ready for it.
No, again, this is their debut on this map. So even down to attack and defense, I would say, and this goes completely against what we saw in the previous series, but I would say in general, the defensive side is where you suffer when you are new to ICEBOX, when you're learning the map.
So when you don't know it as much, right?
Yeah, it's just so hard. Like when you go into matchmaking games, I think you'll even experience that for the first while, where you're like, where am I being shot from? What's happening? What are these setups? It's very difficult to really read the map and to understand it versus on the attack, especially in the current iteration of it with the changes that they made. Rams made a risky walk through that toxin screen. Oh, the timing, the angle just right for Padatek eventually. A free kill. The wall goes down at just the wrong time, but no one's hiding behind it as it's cleared out by Pith, now coming on the flank. Actually, no, he's going to go regroup with his teammates, knowing they'll suspect the flank. No, Mixwell! He's whiffed it. Feku gets the second sender. Vac, everybody answering up. And now it's all on to Pith. He was trying to sneak his way through, but now he's been walled off. Hell, you might as well take the weapon beside you, but it doesn't matter. You get shot in the head like that. Feku with a clean round. And that is heartbreaking for Mixwell. If he gets that shot, maybe they have a chance.
6-3. Attack inside and Frenzy. Well, they are showing G2 how to get it done. They're finding the holes in the play, and even when they go down a man, it didn't really matter. Piff was able to get the instant upgrade in weaponry, because that's all he was able to get. And this isn't one player just really bringing the heavy hitting role here for Frenzy. This is a full team performance. This is why it is their pick. This is why it is their home ground. They know what's up when it comes to this.
You know, I love Frenzy's adaptation to go for the play towards B this time, because you've actually seen Pith given way too much space.
Take flight.
What? Where? What?
Where was that?
So he's gotten that from the B side up on top of the site. This is a really cheeky angle, and with the wall that went down, they knew there was going to be a split through middle. So already just looking at it, that's the easiest couple of kills of Patatek's life. A double to give G2 only a man advantage as it is being pulled back. Brams on his way to regroup over towards this B side, but the spike is down, prompting the push all the way through from Zeke, who is now sat outside of A. He's waiting to catch them if they fall back. The knowledge that the players were still there prompted Zeke to peek with a Vandal in his hand on range. There's no problem. Quick headshot, but Patatek's opening in this round, that was so quick, so fast. And FrenzyGoKill tried to apply the same pressure that they've been on A. So the point I was going to make was that Pith has been given too much space on B. He's been consistently able to push up and get behind. But by the time he gets to actually exactly where Brams is now on the map, right around that middle area of the attacker spawn, they've had the A site. FrenzyGoKill have been so quick in executing A that flank has been irrelevant, because they get up close to A, they wall off spawn, they look heaven, and then they've got 1 or 2 players watching the flank every time, leaving Pith in this great early position with nothing to do. This time it's clearly a B hit with that wall that they've put down from FrenzyGoKill. So Viper's Pit is activated, a 2-man rotate, but FrenzyGoKill, even despite that, are still looking to push B. This is madness.
Mixwell needs to be careful, and he dashes on out there while Piff is able to do some serious damage. It's exactly what he needed. Oh, Vac, ready and waiting for him. Piff pokes out and he goes instantly down.
Why did he do that?
Yeah, this is a huge chance now for G2 though. Even with Piff going down, one of the rounds where they finally got the numbers advantage, they can get a couple of back-to-back rounds in here. But with AQ, popping his ultimate. Got some time left with the Empress.
Last player standing.
But still not able to find the kill. That's going to be the end of it all. Vac, operator in hand, plenty of time, but G2 won't be pushing him 1 by 1 at any point in this. Spike is down and Mixwell works his way around yellow. And G2 will not allow Frenzy to get too far ahead of them. They're staying catching up. But remember, this was a 6-round streak here for Frenzy.
My man, Pith. So playing with a Phantom, first of all, in a round where you have your ultimate makes a lot of sense as Viper. Yeah, it's the weapon that you want when you're playing inside your ultimate. They're already low HP, so even if they happen to be 15 meters away, or 16, you're still going to one-hit headshot them, because obviously because of the decay. But the thing that was really weird was the fact that he peeked out on the side. It just seemed so unnecessary. I get that they wanted to find information, but it's about being Viper. If you're the Viper peeking, that means your ultimate disappears. That means a large amount of your sight control is now gone, and you're relying on that operator to take the fight. Luckily, it worked out. You have an orb thrown through on middle by Brams. That was thrown in the very early round, but I think it missed. I think it was supposed to go over mid, but clipped off one of the boxes and fell back down. Either that or it's a very peculiar orb. Now, G2 pushing straight down, and look at this. The timing is just not expected, and that orb actually concealed Patatek to get into that position. Now they rotate over, they get ready for this A push that's been so successful from FrenzyGoKill in the past, and Zeke, oh, he's waiting for it, the wall dropped, a double kill, and they know exactly where the final player is. Feku with it all to do, no ultimate, no heals, he's full HP for now, but it doesn't last too long. Zeke to close it out with a triple, a great round from him, lurking up aggressively on A. And 6-6 we go. A tied up scoreline, but as I said, Banks, the defense is where I'd expect G2 to struggle if this is a new addition to their map pool. Now, they get their comfortable zone on the attack, which on pretty much every map is where G2 thrive.
And this is also where we're going to be looking to see what Zeke has in store for them, right? As the IGL and having this extra server time, being the first official of the year for these guys, they've had this real understanding of what they want to do and how they can plan it all out. Can they now make it work up against the team that has chosen this map against you, who believes they can take you down on it? Because remember, we've got to keep pointing this out. For the home ground that we're doing here, you get, if you win both maps, cool, you've won. But if you win each other's maps, or you win the map and then they win their map pick, for example, then guess what happens? You have to go for a full best of 5. And a lot of teams in this, especially when it comes to Valorant, they will not be used to best of 5s yet. We know G2 are, they've been in plenty of the finals we've had. But best of 5 is a whole different ball game.
And they've seen both players up close. Vac is dead here. That's great. No, no. How does he survive? He was flashed. They knew he was there. Everything was going their way, and yet Vac gets out. He's still on the back of the site. There's a flank on its way from Brams. He's trying a little bit of a pith play. It's working out for the first kill, but not the second. Full heal up now for Zeke. Gets overhealed completely. I do wonder about this wall. You know, they're putting them sideways a lot. And when you're playing against an Omen, that's the right play, but I don't think there's anything, maybe I'm missing something, but I don't think there's anything they can do if it's straight down. It just means they have to break less. But anyways, Sander finds a frag, pops the heal for his teammate, and it's going to be a 2v2 retake.
Certainly winnable here for Frenzy. They've got the health advantage for sure. A lot of noise being made. Zeke actually gets overwhelmed eventually, but he wasn't first checked by Vac. Now on 5 health, Ardis needs to try and clutch this out. Noise being made here by Vac. But did he just spot out Ardis? It's the default plant position here. He should have a good idea of where he's sitting. Pros don't fake. Oh, and Ardis. He waits for it. He doesn't go to look for it. And Vac comes to him. That's a huge pickup with low health. And G2 grabbed the pistol.
You know what's blowing my mind about G2 is, like, the previous map, we saw them play without a breach, without flashes, full stop.
Yep.
I mean, here I would almost argue they're playing without flashes as well. They've got Reyna. Yes, it's useful. Yes, it's something that an individual like Zeke can make use of, but when you compare it to Sky or Breach's flashes or even Omen alone, they do so much more for you. So, but the previous map, they played without flashes. You ask a team, split, you play without breach, they'll laugh at you. They'll be like, no, you got to have your flashes, right? Then they've come into this one, or at least without Omen as well, so you literally have 0. Then on this map, you're playing with a Reyna. All your roles are mixed up. Like your controllers, your sentinels, everyone's jumbled up. You've shuffled the deck. And it's still working out to a pretty reasonable extent for their first official. This is not a great start, to be honest, though. For G2, they've got better weapons. They've got the armor, and they're losing players. They're dropping like flies.
They've got to be careful, right? Some mighty sheriff shots can be landed. FakeU wants to try and run himself back into the site. The wall goes up in front of him. Oh, he might be able, I like this. Play off the ropes, play off over the top, see if you can do it. The Sage Wall goes up, he's trying to fire while stood on top of it, but he's not able to get it done.
Spike planted. Last player
The rush round, the run and gun. Sender pulls off the first one, but he didn't manage to pick up the Spectre that was on the floor. She's in the decay, takes a lot of damage. Nicely done for the pre-fire, but he won't net himself the kill. That was pretty scary. Like, it was very uncomfortable. There was ways in that round where I'm thinking G2 could easily lose this.
There's definitely a couple of those bumps in the road, right? You can see it. And even in the last play there, they lined up, but I think that was a very conscious decision, knowing they're up against a Frenzy. So, and the player hadn't picked up even the Spectre, although if it was a Spectre, it still wouldn't be that bad of a play. It just doesn't have the wall pen to take you both down. So, the idea there being one of you crouches, one of you goes in front of the real military maneuver, and they can get themselves a nice position to play off of. But in this one, for FrenzyGoKill, okay. There's something I don't think we've seen so far. It would have been put down, but because of how aggressive they were on B, it wasn't really seen from G2. That's the one way. This makes it very difficult to push up on either side, but it also creates that very niche little angle that Mixwell just used. Brams caught off guard by the pixel he was holding, and so he falls, putting the advantage back onto even footing. But for G2 on the attack, that almost seems like an advantage.
Nice spam through attempt from VQ. Has pushed them away from taking the plant. So G2 basically got inside of B with the spike and now don't want to take it. They're trying to force the over-rotation, but already taking it so slow. Frenzy have been aware they're not going to over-rotate from it. If Zeke gets this kill, though, that's going to be huge. But actually, with him not spotting it, oh no. If G2 try and walk in, and Machini can get maybe 1 or 2 kills, that's going to be huge. But Zeke, he finds it in the timing. It does work out in G2's favor. And now it's all about the retake. G2 have the numbers advantage. They're going to be able to get the plant down and back. He wants to push on rounds. This starts off strong onto Ardis, but that's all he's going to get. It's an instant refrag and a good play from Zeke. He's popped his ult and he wants to ensure that G2 continues to stretch this advantage here.
Thank you. Able to take down Zeke. Mixwell returning it, though, keeping the advantage in their favor for G2. This is going to be a tough one if they can't find the Sage. But they have. They've dealt with it. You know, I could see things spiraling a little bit, but 9-6, there's no issue. It's almost scary when you've got players on opposite sides, right? So you're pretty much eliminating the possibility of double peaking, and yet they still go through, and I think it just speaks to the confidence of G2. But Pith coming out of heaven, looking for the player and finding the frag. Had they have missed him and went under the radar, could have been a 1v1 in a very winnable situation. With 9-6 on the board, though, this narrative of G2 being the attack side team is definitely starting to spiral into their favor. But look at the excuse me, look at the round history. You've got the first 3 rounds won by G2, the mid game won then by Frenzy, and the final 3 by G2. Repeat that process, and it's an overtime, Banks.
Oh, you're calling it already, Mitch. You're calling it this early on.
No, I gotta say, that's if we followed like an OCD style pattern, but unfortunately, like G2 just look hot right now on the attacking side, and I think the pressure that FrenzyGoKill were applying to A was what won them so many of these rounds. It was just A hit after A hit that was working out very successfully. The problem is, now G2 come into play, and they're not relying on, at least from the last 3 rounds, they're not relying on the same strategy again and again and again. Although, speaking of the same strategy, look at the B hold. It is essentially identical to what we saw from G2, but with Reyna instead of a Sage.
Toxin screen down.
Now, Frenzy could pick up this round. Maybe there's a start of something special here. But G2 going back to this slower style of play. And this was not the normal G2 we saw, Mitch. They were not known for the slow starts of it all. Vac's going to find himself some success early on, off the back of the knives. And Machina, again, keeps himself tucked away. The Lear comes out. Oh, he still gets Mixwell. That's just unfortunate for Mixwell. It's an instant refrag, but this could be done. Vac's in a great spot. Headshots being landed. He goes up and they all go down. The knives fly out and the 50 win comes in. G2, they were not ready for that.
A 4K by Vac, dashing, updrafting, and you'll notice there, one of the differences, and it is a different engagement than what we saw from Mixwell in one of the last rounds on the A side, where he right-clicked and missed, is Vac doesn't allow anything to go up to chance there. Even when he dashes up behind them, okay, he gets these 2 kills, dashes, updrafts, left, 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 left. He just holds it down, goes for all the shots into the body, maybe thinking the player was already low, but landing the 150 that he needed. And that's something where if you right-click and that player's full HP, chances are from that range in the air, you might not hit them because you've so little time to react. And I love that. I love the left clicks over the right clicks because, to be honest, I feel like Jet players in general overuse the right click. It's good close range as like a very, like a shorty basically. But the majority of the time you want to be holding down that left click, aiming for heads.
Rams has got these setups on go. This time it's going to work out for him. Mixwell already fallen as well. And this again starts to go massively in favor of Frenzy. Okay, there's not great weaponry here for the G2 lineup, but Zeke will try and make some magic happen. Only good for 1. As these Reynas battling it out, trying to find that success and healing their way back up. And no hope at all for Piff. He's overwhelmed, he's overrun, and he's completely done in this one. 9-8. And Frenzy, they're keeping it as close as can be. Mitch, you're maybe getting your OCD moment here. It's the start, at least.
It would be satisfying, wouldn't it? 3-6-3, 3-6-3. Or in fact, if we've cut out the previous, it could be a nice bunch of 6s. But, you know, I feel like coming into these last couple rounds, FrenzyGoKill have just chugged a Red Bull, you know? They just look like they've been vitalized in both body and mind. I love that. I certainly have been, Banks. I'm not feeling any dips in energy. It's fantastic. I'll tell you who's not feeling dips in energy, though. It's Vac, because he's still going aggressive after losing his dash in the early round. He keeps going, man. He's always looking for these close-range fights, but it comes at a heavy cost with Mixwell taking him down the wall, keeping players outside, and Zeke, he saw the man bun of Machina, took him down through the smoke, and a 5v3 emerges. This is huge, because they've also got the operator now as well. G2 with ultimates online, they've got a res, first of all, but a Hunter's Fury in the post plant, and that is a dangerous prospect in the best of times, let alone when you've got a 2-man disadvantage.
G's A site explodes. Continues to work out across the attacking side for both teams. And G2 right now are looking to cause a hell of a problem here for Frenzy. FakeQ's trying to find an advantage, trying to work his way out. Does find himself one kill to start off with, but Mixwell already in the back lines, bringing up extra kills. The dismiss is coming into fruition, but Zeke hunts him on down, and a 10th round secured, and it's a thrifty going the way of G2. 10-8, and well, Mitch, your scoreline's been broken. I'm sorry, you can't have it your way.
They've ruined it. They've ruined it. Damn it, G2. But you know what? I think if you told me the composition they're playing with right now, I'd laugh in your face. And then the same, not the composition, but the players who have those agents selected. And then the same thing can be said for the previous map. Like, oh, they're going to play split without flashes. Like, good one, man. Good one. But no, these guys, they're nuts. They've got new ways of thinking, new ways of approaching these maps. And I love it.
Early Hunter's Fury. Early Hunter's Fury.
Did he must have spotted? No, he wouldn't even have had time to drop.
Too far back. Yeah. I think he did it straight off spawn in case someone was just chilling around mid, but it didn't connect either way. Brams though, looking to ult his way to success in this. He's at least stopping any push onto the A site to start off with, but he has found himself tagged up as they just decide to spam through it all.
Spam the man. That's the plan. Now we'll see if it's going to pan out for any sort of success. FrenzyGoKill with a 2-round disadvantage. They've got themselves at least a little bit to work with over towards the A side in the form of the Viper pit that has been erected. Although usually a pit would go downwards, this one is vertical because why not? The wall goes down underneath the tube, stopping any sort of flanks, but they've got to deal with the one in front of them. And beside, Cassandra goes up on top of the mid ramp, takes a frag, and that's him done. He's happy because they've got a 2-man advantage. Zeke, I just love that from down below. It looks so silly. His feet like just floating on top of the screen. He's going for a James Bond moment, sneaking over into upper A, and I thought he got spotted, but of course Brams is inside the Viper's pit, so can't actually cover this, and there you go. Perfect timing. They know that Viper is still on the site because the pit is still erected. And with a 3 versus 3, this is dangerous. They're about to completely isolate Brams, but he comes around the side. Oh, Brams, it's so beautiful. Thank you. Spots the final player, and Brams is quick to deal with him. Really, really well handled. Brams has a clock inside his head. He knew exactly where those players were going to be.
Timing was certainly on his side, and these two teams, they're now trading out rounds. It starts to get a bit scrappier. Smaller mistakes being made. You saw that mid pressure being applied early on by G2, forced the over-rotation. Sender went to go look for it, and then Zeke just casually ziplining his way across, cruised on in, avoided the Viper's pit, and said, you know what, I'll be able to get a free kill. Then you think that's got to be it. Surely G2 have done enough. But Brams, he stops the plant. And these are the kind of games we love. But that is not what Machina loves. He did not expect that wall. Tries to fight off against it, but Panatek is through far too strong.
Nowhere to run!
Hunter's Fury.
Artist now, he's landed him.
See, you don't only Hunter's Fury when you get a drone through. You can have info on where they are. Mixwell almost in for a second. The trades, they come through quite quickly, leading it into a 2v4. Now for G2, the advantage is to play with. They say, it's not enough. Let's get another one up there. So a 5v2 in an almost unwinnable position now for FeQ, who's running away, gets tagged in the back, and I think this one is pretty much done. Oh, well, reloading as 2 players. PK ain't the way to go, but FeQ, he tries to heal, but it ain't gonna work. Zeke comes through and shows who the real Reyna is.
Well, he did land the real Reyna shot just before that, though. I thought Mixer would have him dead to rights, but that still worked out for FakeQ. And it is the Reynas right at the top of the scoreboard, trying to make everything work for their teams. But now G2 are 1 round away from at least match point, Mitch. They could be the team that potentially takes us over the line with a straight 2-0 and eliminate FrenzyGoKill. But this has certainly been a brawl, especially here on ICEBOX.
Hey, FrenzyGoKill are a new team, as a 5-man at least, although these players are definitely anything but new to the game. Together, they're still finding their footing. And up against a G2 who's very much in the same boat, having Zeke in and changing up their playstyle so much. I'm not surprised in a way, considering the skill that FrenzyGoKill have, but I'm upset if this one goes 2-0. I want to see it go the full distance, but G2, they're not having it. A 5 versus 2 as they move in towards the A side, but both players are here, and they're about to find that out the hard way, because FeQ comes out on the side. They baited them in by showing one and running away. On that, they thought, oh, we made Sova run. The A side is ours. But no, FrenzyGoKill proves it's anything but. Now they look to isolate these fights, but the spike is being retrieved, and they're hightailing it out of there.
No.
What? FrenzyGoKill with the flick of 3K, and now a winnable 2v2. But look at Mixwell. He's up behind. He's in their spawn, and he's waiting for an opportunity to catch these guys off guard. A sneaky play in the back lines. And the reason he's not pinking, first of all, because he's got a Phantom, and you don't want the long-range fight with that weapon. But secondly, because he can flank them if they go in through heaven. The thing is, they're not. They've gone mid, so they can catch Zeke all by himself, all by his lonely. And now Mixwell's got to do it all. Has a long rotate. Updraft, they know where he is. They can stick it. They've heard him updraft. They know the peak is on its way. And this is an absolutely insane 2v4. FrenzyGoKill with the play of the game right there. 10 rounds on the board, and G2, you might just have a best of 5 on your hands.
FrenzyGoKill came in huge. They were going to back away, right? And they already made the call. And then Artist stuck around and he went down. And that was an issue. Him being taken down allowed the Empress to stay with the ult a little bit longer, so the Reyna was staying strong and could continue that fight. I really thought, considering there was, what, like 50 seconds left on the clock, that we'd see G2 just run the clock down a little bit, bait it out, make sure they don't go up against the fully stacked up Reyna. Instead, they allowed FrenzyGoKill to have so much room to work with, and that brings them potentially back into this. That is something you can get hyped up, motivated about, and push on forward with. Because like you said, Mitch, play of the game for sure.
That was unbelievable. Every aspect of that. FrenzyGoKill did an amazing job. The flick he hit up onto the rafters.
Onto Artist was ridiculous.
Like, come on. You're going to be so annoyed if you're Artist in that situation. But then further back, Machina peaks with the Stinger. There we go. With the Stinger in hand, right? He peeks. He sprays a little bit. He's not trying to kill someone. Not from that range. But he's telling them, hey, I'm over here and I'm running to spawn. Come and get me. And then FrenzyGoKill swings, takes it. That's the kind of gamble that if it doesn't pay off, you save the weapons. Who cares? But if it does, oh, if it does, you win the round with plays like that from FrenzyGoKill.
Now, Vac does need to be careful because he's going to get run down. He was trying to take shots and didn't want to fall back. He stuck around for the fight. And well, he paid the price with his life. Now with the numbers in their advantage, G2, they can make the next steps they want. Already, though, we've seen some of the Frenzy players start to get themselves into the site. Again, Piff, he's holding that lurker position. He's hiding in the back lines, and he's actually going to be able to walk his way through Tube. Will this be expected? Oh, this is huge. He's been able to gain so much ground. G2 can just wait for this. Wait for him to strike. There we go, he gets the first kill. That's a big pickup as well. That's a huge scalp to take. They're still not planting just yet. There's so many players everywhere. Mixwell goes in for it, jumps up high and wants to make it work. Machina all alone, and Zeke will put an end to it all. 12-10. And G2, well, they've survived up to match point. The worst case is overtime for them. But this buy is not going to be the most beautiful out of FrenzyGoKill. They've got to play this on a small amount of hard mode.
Yeah, I know, this is getting tough, thanks, that's for sure. I mean, for FrenzyGoKill, they're just putting a smile on my face with how close they're making this game, but I don't want it to be a 2-0. I don't want that because people will just look at this and go, yep, it's another G2 best of 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, this is so good by FrenzyGoKill. I'm loving what I'm seeing. I'm not just because Browns is playing the Viper, but I'll be honest. I'm enjoying that too, you know? He's getting brownie points for that. But of course, so too is Pith. So I'm equally biased. It's okay. For 12-10, though, this is where G2 feel comfortable. They called that tack pause. I'm sure someone was getting a spanking during that. And now they're happy to sit back. A verbal one, thanks. Come on, get your mind out of the goddamn gutter.
Just checking you, you know.
But yeah, I'm sure someone was getting given out to during that one because there were a couple of mistakes made. That is very much clear when it went 12-10. Or 11-10, but now they're back on. They're focused up and they're ready to go. And if you're G2, the A side is the bread and butter of what we've seen so far. It's traded out though, even with a ghost in hand, but Sender is blocked out, unable to help his teammate as Vac goes down. A man advantage now for G2 as they look to close this one out with the A post plant.
Still a 3v3 though, and Artis, he's already taken a significant amount of damage. He does get healed back up, and that might be the real chance he needed, but oh, Mixwell, he tries to go on the flank, but Brams, he was coming for the runaround. This could be exactly what they need. FakeU still finding more damage as well, and FrenzyGoKill will not give up. They're not going down without a fight. Patatek has to come up huge, but he's stuck all down, all alone. Oh, it's not checked by Brams! Headshots landed! Patatek looking to close it out, and he saves the day! 13-10, and G2 take the win! A huge